Welcome to Undrafted Hockey Fan. I'm Brad, and today we got a special guest, Nick Harrington from Hockeytown West Podcast. Nick, how you doing, man?
I'm doing great. How are you doing, Brad?
Dude, having a great time, man. Like I said, I know we chatted for over half an hour before this, and we're like, hey, maybe we should record. You know?
I thought you were recording all of that.
Oh yeah, no, oh yeah. Well, then I'll definitely start editing from now on. So, anyways, Nick, one of the cool things when you reached out, everything is cool because this week, just today, you were at training camp up in Traverse City with the Red Wings and the Grand Rapids guys coming up. How was it, man? How did you have a great time? Because I'm jealous, man.
Yeah, so you are you're getting a lot of the knowledge before we even record on my own podcast over at Hockeytown West. So
You can say just to save some for your own, like if you need
yeah.
to. Like, don't get spoiled at all.
I gotta figure out what to filter through. No, one day will be enough for you. But I love going up to Traverse City. I used to live up there, and so I lived up there for 2.5 years. Loved being up there. It's so beautiful, really. I mean, I don't have any other words for it. So I always try to go back out for training camp. This is the third year that I've been up there. First year we just did red white game. Went up, saw the prospects, saw the stuff, kind of get our toes wet a little bit, and then last year we took the full 4 days and spent up there, going to camps, going to the practices, going to the red and white game. And then this year, there's the red and white games here in my own home city over here in Grand Rapids. I guess I could say home city. Yeah. So we'll be there, and I'm super excited for that. But camp was interesting. It was very different because this was the first year where Todd was there. Todd was the head coach. So true. It started very different than others. The way they kind of break it down. So if you've never been to Traverse City or never been to the ice arena,
most people haven't, I'd say. So I'd say the listeners, like just like give it, because if you're like, most people don't have the option. Again, I'm jealous. I had to work today. Thursday you get to go up to Traverse City and have some cherries and wine and watch hockey. Poor you.
For me. Yeah. So when you walk into there's 2 arenas. There's 2 ice sheets there for you. So what they do is they split up the team. They split up the entire roster of Grand Rapids. They split up Detroit Red Wings, and then they have their camp invitees and then their prospects as well. And they'll split them in. They've got 3 teams. So this year it was Team Devalcio. Wow, I can't say that. Devalcio. Then you've got Team. Oh my gosh, I just lost the teams. Team Howe, and then the last one was Team. I think the last one was Able.
Able, yeah, I'm gonna check out. So,
oh my gosh,
I'll trust you, man. Don't worry about it. Like I said, you're good. So we had the three teams.
3 teams. They split them up. The first one they practiced. So there's a couple drills there. You've got they did a couple drills. They run it for about 40 to 50 minutes, and then they switch over to the other ice, which is typically what happens is they'll go to the other ice, and then the second team, Team B, starts. And then they practice, and then Team C practices on the other end to finish it up for camp. And it's about 3 hours or so there. This time what they did was Team A started, and then they went out when they finished with their practice. It was an intense practice. They were like going at each other. Like it was very fast paced. It was very intense. The skating was very hard. Todd was screaming. Todd was yelling. You could hear him up in the stands, and it was very different from what I've seen in the past. They're working those boys. They're working the boys. They're getting ready for the season. So
anyone stand out during those practices? You see that, like, because I'm a big Dan Cleary guy. Like I want all gas, no brakes, run into the boards. Because you're skating so fast, type guy.
So there's a couple people that stood out. One thing we saw was Kasper was center with the freaking Kane.
Yep.
As you can see behind. Yep. You had Elmer Soderblom up at the top line with Lucas Raymond and Dylan Larkin. So
love to see it.
It was interesting. It was different to see. Todd did state after that it's a tryout position. He's trying out Elmer there. He told Elmer, if I were you, do not give up this spot. Like, this is yours to take. Go.
Love that mindset.
So we'll see if this kind of continues through. What I noticed last year with camp is like the lines that were there, it was like Berggren and Tarasenko were on a line, and then they kind of rotated the center a little bit. That fed into the regular season. So a lot of these lines and the rushes that we're seeing will translate. Now, you do have to take a little bit of like JVR wasn't there. And Simon Edvinsson wasn't there either. So some of the lineups were a little different than what you're
Sure.
typically going to see because of these guys. So, but guys that stood out. So I was really interested in watching Sebastian Cossa because when I love goalies, it's easy to focus on the goalie, right? It's either a big save or a goal. And he did really well in the first 2 or 3 practices. So it was like a 2-on-1 they started, then they went to a 3-on-none. So then a 4 and then 5. And at the 5 point, he gave up a couple goals there compared to, I think it was Talbot on the other end.
Sure.
Yeah, I think it was Talbot on the other end.
16-year difference, you know. I mean, so I can understand that, you know.
Yeah, it was Talbot on the other end. So they did really well. He stopped. Costa stopped a lot of good shots. The one guy that kept getting him though was JT Comper. Just
good. By the way, like again, good. I want a big season on JT Comper. I'm so jealous that the Colorado Avalanche got the version of him that he just thrived in that first year. I want to see a good year. Like I don't want him to be relegated to the 4th line. I want him to be fighting. Honestly, try him on that first line left wing. Like try it. Like maybe it'll work, man. You know, like I'm okay with experimenting.
Yeah, he like all of his goals that came in too at Costa were all from different angles, different like spots of the ice too. So it was just like it wasn't just one thing was working for him. It was a lot of different things that were working for him. So not somebody that are like, oh my gosh, the whole season's gonna be saved. You know, Patrick Kane looks so good, but I thought JD Copper stood out.
Good.
You know, Kasper did really well, holding the line, carrying the line that he was on with Kane and DeBrincat. DeBrincat did fantastic throughout training camp. He had a couple goals. So those guys really stood out to me. One guy that's I've always focused on like the underdogs, I guess you could say, the people that fly under the radar. Edward Trailmarks, he was there. He looked really good. I would expect him to be with Detroit this year. Just from one day of camp.
Okay, I gotcha.
Yeah, he was surprising. He, big body, had the strength. I could see him, staying with Detroit for the year. The other lines that were out there was like Nate Danielson, Michael Branson-Nygaard, and then Leonard. So that line kind of tells me that those guys. Leonard was signed to a Griffins contract. Yeah. So for me, I'm looking at this like these guys are probably going to be in the AHL. Which I'm hoping for anyways. Like that's who I cover. So selfishly, like I want those guys here.
I like Leonard. Leonard played on the San Jose Sharks. I liked when he was there. I was actually sad that they let him go. So I think he was a good addition. He's not as young as I remember him being, which is because he played with the Sharks so long ago. But I really liked his game when he was there. So I think you're really gonna like him.
I was excited for that signing. Typically we're picking people from like last year we got Joe Snively from Hershey, and then this year we were able to get John Leonard from Checkers, who made it to the finals. So to see some like those championship caliber guys coming down, I was happy for. So it's funny when you said San Jose, I was like, oh yeah, because I researched these guys when we signed them, and then I kind of forget as the offseason goes, and I'm like, oh yeah, I forgot he played for San Jose. So the defensive pairings were, they're gonna change based off of Edmonton, but what I saw was Justin Holl and Gustafsson were paired together.
Okay.
Ian Mitchell and then Albert Johansson.
Yep.
Saw Axel Sandin-Pellikka with William Lagesson. So we would assume that that's probably going to be Detroit's top pairing.
Agreed. Yeah.
And then we also saw Christensen with Gus too. So they had to kind of rotate because they had an amount of defensemen.
Yeah, Justice Christensen, right?
Correct. Yep. Yeah, so I didn't see anything crazy. A lot of today was focused on offense. There was a couple at the end, where they changed, but that first practice was just a practice. That's all they did. It was hard practice. It was intense. There was a lot of screaming from Todd and a lot of stopping. So he was correcting mistakes as he was going through, and then reigniting the play, the practice. Then what happened was they left that ice and they moved over to the other ice, and then they scrimmaged the other team. So
nice.
Which the other team didn't get a warm up. It was just right into a scrimmage, and then they practiced after. So
I'm kind of okay with that because that allows people to realize like, hey, this is NHL caliber. Like you need, like, I kind of like the shock factor of that, of being like, hey, like you don't get to work. I understand you get to warm up in regular, but like, hey, Graydon, Robertson, Palmer, you 7th round pick from 2025. Like, this is the NHL. Like, you just turned 18. I get it, but like, this is like this is what you're working towards. And I get, to me, like, it's like it like not messes with their head, but like it sets the tone of like, this is, you want this. This is where you need to be. And guys are like, oh man, that was a lot. Good. Again, you throw them into the fire and they can learn, and they're getting, walked by Raymond or something like that, or, or having to block like a cider shot,
Well, the teams were pretty balanced too, from what I had seen too. I mean, I had looked at the roster as I was, walking into the arena, so I wasn't able to really gauge it too much or analyze it. But based on, I was like writing down the lines as they're playing. I'm trying to spot who's out there and who's with who, because I know how important it is when we continue to move forward. Is it kind of tells you where the coaches think these players are going to be at to start the season. So,
yeah.
I didn't think anybody looked out of place, like that anybody was like, oh, this guy definitely needs to be here or there. Like, in the overall, like that, I didn't think anybody was playing too up, I would say, if that makes sense. Like
2 up or 2 down, would you say?
Yeah, nobody was over indexed. We saw a lot of that last year with Grand Rapids. It's like we just didn't have, we had players that were playing, how do I phrase it? Like they were second or third pairing defensemen, and then now they're first line defensemen, and we're like, oh, they're playing maybe too far up, or a situation like that. Like for Nate Danielson, for instance, last year, crazy first year in, he's playing top center position. Like, maybe ease him in a little bit into that second slot. But
he was drafted as an overager, though, mind you. He was 19 when he was drafted, so he had it, and he had an additional year in juniors. So like he's coming in as a 21-year-old, I think, right? Because he was because again, I remember him being drafted as an overager, and they talked about that because now he's just turned 21. So last year as a 20-year-old being the AHL, which is a hard jump. I don't disagree. But I just remember that being a concerning factor. I think very sure it was an overager. That's why there was the talk of. I remember
he was born in 2004, so
maybe I'm incorrect.
27. So we're right there.
Oh, is
right?
it?
My math is right.
Okay, that's something that I latched on to because I had high expectations for Nate Danielson because of that talk.
Everybody did.
Yeah. Well, I mean, yeah, because like they're saying, they're like, hey, like the comparison that I heard is like he should be a second Dylan Larkin. I was like, Jesus, that's a high bar. I mean, that's because he's responsible defensively, and he has a little bit of offensive touch as well. And I know the big thing that like the Grand Rapids pods were talking about was like, he outproduced Kasper in his first season, and so if we saw the way that Kasper has really blossomed on the Red Wings, can we expect the same type of season from Nate? And I don't know what are your thoughts on that?
Oh, that's a tough one because like he's between two of the greatest players, right? The Kane, like who it'd be hard not to do well there, and nothing to take away from Marco Kasper because when Marco was here, he was fantastic. Like he played with Bear Grit on the wing and then Carter Mazer on the wing. So like that, the three of them like just was so good together. With Nate down here, he doesn't have that strong of line mates, I would say. Like Austin Watson, there's nothing against Austin Watson, but he's not he's a pro. He is a pro, but he's not that offensively gifted as somebody like Bergen who crushed it that season. Or Mazer on that season as well. So it's tough to say. Like they played two different styles of hockey. Nate Danielson's so smart. His hockey IQ is so good. He's always in the right place, and his passing is so good. I always like, because we're clipping near the game, and I'm like, was that Nate? That was Nate, wasn't it? And Brady's like, yeah, it was Nate. And I'm like, okay, before I hit send, I want to make sure. Yeah. But like I could tell like right away, his eye for the game is so good. His offensive ability is what's always lacking for people. People want him to be more offensive, like, see the points and see the things better, and see more. But he's secretly always accounting, which is good. So I'm interested to see what he does for this year, for the second year.
Yeah, I mean, I can definitely see that because the thing is I'm curious if it's not a top line is like I don't know if you would have I'm looking at the Dominic Shine as a center or a winger, but you could have a Mazer Shine Branson Nygaard as your top line. And that would be 2 first-round picks and a veteran. I don't. Again, I'm positionally. I see that Shine can play right wing and center. You want Nate Danielson to play center, and then Branson Nygaard could play left wing. That's offhand, right? Because he's a right-hander. But that's an option, right? And then you put Amadeus Lombardi at your second line center, and then kind of move. I'm building out a Grand Rapids roster, and I'm talking to the Grand Rapids guy, and I'm spitballing at this point. Like I don't know where Trail Max drops. I don't. So we'll see. I mean, I'm curious on that.
There's a lot of moving parts. I was me and Travis. Travis is our lineup guy. He fits them. He predicts them beautifully. He knows it right before it happens, and he starts saying it, and then it happens the next game. And I'm like, is Coach listening?
Yeah, right.
I have to ask. I mean, sometimes they do listen to us. So
that's good to hear.
It's one of those things. Like I think with him, I think it'll probably be like Nate, NBN, and it might be John Leonard. It might be Leonard on that side. It could be, if me and Travis were talking about today, we got to kind of figure out the lineups of who's going to be where. But I could see that. I don't know if Shine is really the top. He's been playing like second and third. I would love to see Amadeus play more wing because I think that's kind of his pathway up to Detroit now at this point. So I'd like maybe seeing him and Nate and then NBN. That'd be fantastic, especially with Axel Sandin Palika, because Ammo and him are just and NBN, like the three there. Just thinking of that, like the passing and they know where each other are. It would fit. It would work out so well. Elaine Grace actually just said this on her podcast the other day, and I was like, dang, she does have a really good point there. As I'm saying it, I'm consciously remembering that she said it. But I think the guy that everybody is kind of wondering about at camp is Mr. Carter Bear. Carter Bear.
And his injury and his Achilles injury and everything.
He played very well, a very physical style, going down low, hunting pucks. Todd said that a lot this today, is hunt the puck, go get it. He was going at it. He was putting his body out there. He was in front of the net trying to deflect, tip pucks. He was a menace when he was out there. I think he's going to go back to the Silver Tips this for juniors. I'm excited to see kind of his recovery process and like how that goes, but I think he's on the right path. This was a pick that I was super nervous about, and if the Wings have agreed with it, we're going to go with it, and we're going to hope for the best for this kid. And I'm excited to see how he translates up to Grand Rapids, possibly at the end of the season after the Silver Tips finish their junior season. So they always bring those guys in at the end.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, and I'll be honest, I was hesitant on the Carter Bear pick as well. And again, this is a
most were
like
most were, yeah.
Carter, it's not personal. I didn't watch enough of your game. I didn't know you were this physical and everything. And I think I was surprised. And I was happily surprised, right? Puts up 80 points in 80-some points in like 50 or 60 games. Like, he played really well in the Western Hockey League. He will scrap. He'll throw. Like, he plays a good left wing. Again, I'm okay with it. And like, it's looking at there's other guys that I wanted, but like I said, I understand that's again. I try honestly, and end up defaulting. You can criticize Eisman on so many levels. Not so many. You can criticize him on some levels, not so many. Sorry, Steve. Please like and subscribe, Steve. But you could say that he has not faulted on drafting. I mean, you're starting to see these guys pop off, right? We're seeing just in his 2019 draft, you have Soderblom, Albert Johansson, and Seider all in the NHL team. And if you get one guy out of your draft that's outside the first round that lands, that's a win. That's a win. You get your first rounder and you get one guy out. That's a win. You have two guys right now. And we're starting to see the 2020 guys are starting to start popping off, right? We're seeing like a Wall Linder. Maybe he comes in as a third pair, right? Because next year, it's open next year. I mean, but you have Seider signed. I think that's Seider and Johansson. Those are the only two defensemen that are signed for next year. Because Edmonton is an RFA. Hamonic, Bernard Docker are only 1 year deals. Hall is on last year's contract. Sherratt's on last year's contract. You can have a completely all rookies defense core. I wouldn't suggest it, but you could.
Nervous.
Eric Carlson, you are a Detroit Red Wing, So, but yeah, I'm a huge Eric Carlson fan. I have his San Jose jersey. Huge Eric Carlson. I'm so biased. So, it's the mustache and hair from when he had in Ottawa. I was like, goodness gracious, that man. Who is it? I'm hot and bothered, So, anyways, on that note,
though, I do have to say, the Travis Hammonick's mustache in real life is a thing of beauty.
Is it? I gotta Google. I got ad break to Google Hammonick mustache. I gotta check this out. The mustache. I mean, talk to me about it. It's just that flowy?
I'll get a picture of it tomorrow, but I was up in the stands. I didn't sit down low.
That is. I'm a cop.
Person.
He looks like he's a cop. He's like, hey, I'm working here, dude. I love that. That's phenomenal. It is a solid mustache. That's exactly what it is. That's great, dude. I love that. So, anyways, let's do DraftKings real quick, and then we'll jump back into this, and we'll talk some. A little bit of Red Wings projections, what the lines look like, and then a little bit of Grand Rapids as well. So stay tuned after this. Your season, your shot. The NFL season is rolling, and every touchdown can bring you closer to a payout with DraftKings Sportsbook, an official sports betting partner of the NFL. From first touchdown scorers to anytime TD props or the thrill of live in-game betting, every snap is loaded with opportunity. And I'm going with the Lions. They're going to take out the Ravens because they're going 16-1, baby. That's my guess. Of course, optimism, right? They're gonna beat the Packers again. For the first time this year, right? So again, if you're gonna bet, go Lions, man. They're going to the Super Bowl, baby. Again, for new customers, this one's for you. Bet just $5 and get $200 in bonus bets instantly. Plus, score over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use the code THPN. That's code THPN to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort. 21 plus, age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Fees may apply in Illinois. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer. Yeah, I should edit the end of that one for sure. That was a lot rougher. I ripped through that one too quickly. Don't worry, boys and girls. It'll be good for next week. Don't worry. So, anywho, let's jump into the Red Wings. Let's talk about the Red Wings a little bit. Do you see any rookies making the team? Because I'm having a hard time. I don't know if you want Nate Danielson to play a third line center role. I think Koppa would be just fine in that, unless he stuns as a first line center. Maybe you give him a couple games in the regular season, but I honestly think he settles out in a role in GR playing those top line minutes such that he can grab that elite talent. Again, I don't see Axel sending Palika or Pelika.
Either or. I don't know.
Okay. Oh, yeah.
They call it Pelican too.
Pelican, yeah. Anyways, yeah, and they though Carter Mazur, I see him maybe starting with the Red Wings, but I can see him more coming on later after he's proven himself with the injury and everything. But give me some of your thoughts on that with who you can see breaking out from the Grand Rapids coming on to the Red Wings.
So Travis and I talked about this morning while we're kind of going through the lineup, and we feel like there may be one position open. I don't think it's on defense. I think they've got so many defenders.
They have 8 defensemen.
Then there could be a trade, I think we started last year with 8 and we, traded Alimata. And so that figured up a spot for Aljo. but they, I don't think it's going to be on defense. I think Pelika really needs to be here this year, not just selfishly, just so I can watch him, but I think he'll be here. He needs just a little bit more work on the defensive zone. Not saying that he's bad. It just, he needs a little bit of time there. And who better to be able to coach him through that? It's Dan Watson and Brian Lashoff, like both top defense. Like Brian Lashoff was a great defenseman here, and Dan Watson was also played defense, and he's more of a defensive minded coach. So I have no worries on that end. He's in a great place here with us. I think the biggest thing too with Wings fans is like they're so used to prospects before Steve of overcooking and overdeveloping here and being burnt out. I don't think that's the case. Like since I've been covering the Griffins for the last 3 years, like it's 1 or 2 years and then they're up. 1 or 2 years and then they're up. I think it's a great. Not everybody's going to fit that model, but I think like Nate Danielson, I hope that he's here again this year. The biggest thing is like strength, right? He needs to focus on strength, getting stronger, face-offs, right? If you're looking for somebody, the center position is so important as face-offs. So if you're not winning face-offs in the AHL, do you think you're going to win them in the NHL? Probably not. Where did we start most of our possession last year for the Red Wings?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, right.
In the defensive zone. Like that's not a good spot.
Yeah.
So I think for him, it would be best for him to be here, top line center. Really, I want to see him stand out. I want to see him he's so quiet, right? Like he's in the right spots. He's like, I was thinking about this on the way back from camp today. He's like Nick Lindstrom. He's always in the perfect spot. He doesn't put up like crazy points, but he's right where he needs to be, right? And that's the beauty of Nick Lidstrom is like he always was like just the perfect. This could be. I don't know if you're following where I'm going with this, but he was like the perfect role model, right? He was at the right place, at the right time, making the right plays. That's Nate on the forward side. Like he's at the right spot. So you want a little bit more offense, especially from a guy that's in the top 10 pick. He plays center. You want to see that offense. So I'm hoping we see a little bit more of that this year. So I'm hoping he's here. I think MBN could make a case to come up and maybe play in to get some games, but I think like his game translates so well for North American hockey. He's so strong. He's so physical.
Yeah. Everyone says that. He's only 20, mind you. So, and he did not have a great year in the SHL. Only 11 points in 42 games. However, he did start to pick it up at the end, right? And he had a good playoffs, I'm pretty sure, as well. I don't have his stats up here right now, but I was told he had a really good playoffs as well.
In GR, he got unfortunately, we only played 3 games. And he got, I believe it was like 2 goals and an assist. He was a point per player in the playoffs. Did really well in the playoffs. He had a couple games before, but I think that's just him adjusting. I think he really he'll take off this year. He'll develop down here in GR, and then he can make a case. Maybe even pulling him up for 9 games or something like that, and just kind of test him out against, I think those guys will see a lot of preseason games, is what I'm hoping.
Yeah.
I'm trying to think of somebody that could possibly make a case, but I really don't see a spot for somebody like at this point. Like they're young, right?
A Carter Mazer.
Yeah, I could see Mazer's a weird case because like last year when he was here, like he got hurt early in the season. And then he was out for a while. In.
Oh, I guess I guess that was the Red Wings. Yeah, you're talking about Grand Rapids. Yeah,
Grand Rapids. He got hurt early. He comes back. He does well. He gets called up, and then he gets hurt. And so it was like it's small sample size. So he literally, like Travis and I talk about it. He kind of lost a full season of hockey last year with being injured. So like it wouldn't be a bad idea for him to be here to start here, and then maybe get that call up, kind of like Dom Shine did last year, and play a lot of the games towards the end of the season with injuries or anything like that.
Yeah.
Like opening night roster, I can't foresee anybody, but maybe a call up an injury, somebody could get pulled up. Somebody like Amadeus Lombardi would need to get some time up there, I would say, to kind of see how his game translates to the pro level. Mazer for sure. His time is ready. Defensive side, if there's a trade or an injury or something, Vollinder needs some time up there. He needs to get a look up in the NHL.
And he got called up. He was called up. He was the first defensive call up. He didn't play any games. He wasn't the first. I'm saying that when they got called up, he was the first, right?
Tuomisto got called up first because Volley was hurt or he was sick at the time. So Tuo got called and then Volley got called up after.
Okay,
and
gotcha.
neither played.
But they were able to skate. They were able to skate with the upper club. But it just shows you that, hey, like they could have called a veteran, right? They could have brought up
Brogan Rafferty.
Brogan Rafferty highway, man, dude. Right. So real quick, with one thing promising on Brandon Nygaard, he had 6 points in 11 games in the playoffs, which is, I mean, it's, you want to see a half point per game player out of a 19-year-old at the time. And so this guy, I think I'm excited to see him because I was like, who when they drafted him, and again, you never want a first round pick to bust. And not saying this at all, right? But like we saw this in the Ken Holland era. I mean, Larkin definitely was the one that was drafted outside of where he's definitely risen in the draft. He's probably top 8 in this case in that draft, right? But Rasmussen, at 9th overall, you wouldn't like to see him as a third line winger, right? Especially drafting as a center. I think his development got screwed up with the CHL and having to get the AHL, so maybe not totally his fault. But we saw Zadina, we saw Veleno, we saw Cholowski, right? So like getting these guys is so important for hitting on these guys. But again, I trust Eisman to do this, and I think he's doing a good job with a lot of this stuff.
Oh yeah, I mean we could see it here at GR, like what's coming, and that's what's so exciting about watching Grand Rapids. Like we started covering this 3 seasons ago, and we're like, we see what's in the pipeline, we see what's coming up, we see what the future is, and what Steve is doing. Like it's so exciting, and it's great to be able to watch them, be able to see their development, and like I think that's the thing too is it's so important to watch the games. You can't just take sometimes we get so caught up on the Twitter Discord, right?
No.
Like Big fans are like, they need to be up here. And I'm like, they definitely do not. Like we should have watched the last game. Yeah. So I think the plan though is, and how they're developing, how they're moving it's good. It's good. Like trust what Steve's doing, because I do feel like it's moving on the right way. There's, his pro scouting side is shaky, right? There's some bad sightings, but I think so too. They're plugs. Those contracts are ending at the time these kids should be ready, and
not too long, right? So, not too expensive. They're gonna, like I said, they're gonna fall off properly, right? Yeah. One thing I wanted to emphasize with the Grand Rapids Griffins, again, I'm not totally unsure on position, but looking at who's going to be down on the right side for defense, you have right-handed defenseman Axel St. Palika. You have Ian Mitchell, and you have Tuomisto. Who third pairs that, right? Because I think you don't want to drop Axel St. Palika in the third pair, right? Because you want him playing PP time, right? I think the thing is power play time. Are you going to play Willander there? You're definitely going to play Axel there. Are you going to put Shai Booyam there? Like, who's going to take those power play spots? Because I think that's where I'm getting a little concerned is like, I want Tuomisto to work out, but he's almost 12. He's turning 25 this year. I want Willander to work out. He's 23, so he's got a little bit more time on him. But like, again, the right-handed defensemen are so coveted, and I'm like, how do you progress Axel without potentially losing out on a depth defense? You know what I mean? I hate wasting defensemen. And again, when you have all these second-round picks that don't work out, it is incredibly frustrating when you have a Bertuzzi and a Hronek, and I'm like, I just want, I want these high capital draft picks to work out. And especially when you see like a Lane Hudson in the second round, you're like, get out of here, dude, get fucked. So
at first when you asked this question, I was nervous because I was like, oh man, all right, now we're gonna go position wise and handiness and things like that. And as you got going, you're gonna buy me some time. And then I was like, you know what? I know the answer to this already. I don't know why I overthought it. So there's 2 people that were on the power play last year. When Axel came in, Axel really took over that spot, did really well with it. Who was there before? It was Antti Tuomisto, who has a crazy shot. Not super accurate, but he has this crazy shot. And maybe
hits the glass.
You definitely have to duck.
Creates chaos. Good.
Which could be good, right? And maybe this offseason he's worked on it. But the guy that really did just fantastic last year. Like I was pounding the table for this guy halfway through the season. I saw a ton of growth. I saw a ton of development. I'm super behind this guy, and it's Shai Booyam. He ran the power play last year on the quarterback. He did so well. His passing, he's led on the rookie. He led for rookies assists for assists. Like a lot of those were coming off the power play. Our power play was not great. And a lot of the he is a very good distributor. Now we were talking the other night when we recorded is maybe you put him and you also put Axel, because Axel's office is the OV office. It's that left circle. So you put him there, you put Bouillon at the top, and then maybe you have, Ammo down low as well. There's a lot of different options there. So, Bouillon would be the perfect guy to put there for power play. He has played on the right side before. A lot of our right side, like you called it out, is like Torridello, who we traded halfway through the season. Josiah Didier, he has not signed yet anywhere. Brogan Rafferty signed overseas. So it did create a little bit of a gap, but I think too with I can't remember what side Lagesson plays, but he could also, like with him playing with Axel,
he shoots left, so he's probably on the left side. That's just typically how you see it. Albert Johansson's the anomaly, right? Side note, maybe this is a harder hitting question, so you can definitely make sure to watch yourself in this one. I don't understand. Well, and again, take it however you need. I didn't understand that Didier came in immediately captain for 2 years, right? And then you can't get a contract. That's what I didn't understand. I was like, this feels like a Shiner thing, right? This feels like someone else. And again, I know that's probably not the coaches, but maybe it's the players who decide their captain. But I was just like, that seems. It's a huge honor to be the captain of a team, right? By the way, one of my wife's friends was her father-in-law was the first captain of the Grand Rapids Griffins.
Oh, for real?
Yeah. So his last name's McSween. So
we're gonna have to talk off air.
Yeah. So, anyways, but we can cut this part out too if we need to. But yeah, I wasn't sure with the Didier thing. I was just curious if you had any of that.
So Josiah, we didn't know much about him when he signed with Grand Rapids, and we actually had a Patriot fan reach out to us and tell us kind of his backstory. And this guy he is definitely a captain. Like there is no doubt about it. He his first year here, he stood up for everybody. Like if you picked out Ammo, you were going to answer for it.
Love that.
He threw the body. He was the fighter. He was sticking up for people, throwing the body, like just all around good guy. Last year, we had the privilege of being in the locker room, so we were able to see the off ice things on that as well. And he's out there signing stuff for kids, playing around, taking pictures with him, signing stuff. Just the culture that he brought in was so good for what we needed, especially with Dan coming in his first year. So we love Dids, great guy. That's one of the things. I think. With him, the reason why he doesn't have a contract, one, Detroit just signs a ton of defensemen. But the second thing is he doesn't have I haven't seen him on a PTO anywhere. And they just had a kid just a few months ago. So it might be more of a family thing that he doesn't want to play here. He wants to spend more time with his family. It could be one of those things. I know we've had him on the show. He has, I can't remember if it's Colorado. Yeah, he has deep roots in Colorado, so he may have gone back to on that side to be with family. That could be an answer. I don't know for sure though, so it's just speculation. We don't know where he'll be or why he's not signed or why a lot of these guys you see kind of go overseas and they continue their career. He just had a kid. I don't think that's
he's also 32.
Yeah,
he's 32, which isn't young. It's not that he's not capable, right? But it's just there's sometimes it happens. We saw that with Tyson Berry. Was it Tyson Berry or who was his head? They mutually. I'm retiring because of 32 teams. I think it's Tyson Berry. 32 teams mutually agreed that I should retire. I'm like, whoo, that's a tough look, man. So, but it was very funny. Going on with the defenseman, so in my opinion, this is what I think. Right now, the Red Wings are running. If you take the roster, there's 12 guys, not including Carter Mazer. And we have 12 guys in forward, 8 guys in defense, and then you have because they have Austin Watson on the roster. but I think he's going to play in the AHL. And then you have Gibson and Talbot. In my opinion, I think you guys see Justin Hall again. I think eventually they're going to want to call up Cossa at some point, because I think Cossa gets 5 to 7 games this year. I think you're going to get injuries from Talbot. You're going to get injury from Gibson. Just that's they're older players. And I think he's, I'd say deserving of those to be able to bring him in and see. He got a taste last year. And I could also see again a Carter Mazer. And I think the defense, you're not going to bring anyone up in that case. But I think there's so many of them. But I think Justin Hall is the easy one. Eventually, if you're going to waive anybody, no one's going to pick up the contract because he's $3.4 million. And he can make it through. He'll make it through waivers, right? So I think that he's the easy one to do. So what are your thoughts on that? Or who do you? I kind of riffed. Go ahead.
No, you're good. Justin Hall. When you said you'll see him again, I laughed because we never saw him last year.
Oh, you did? I thought he skated. Well, he skated with the practice.
He never made it to GR. We never saw him. So I I laughed because we're like, okay, he got waived. He should be here. We're looking around the locker room. None of his nameplate's out there. His equipment's out there. I don't think he was that. I don't think he ever made it.
Paper move, basically.
But you're right. I mean, he would be the one to be able to clear waivers and be down here.
You're not going to waive Kasper. You're not going to waive Edmondson, who are waiver eligible, right? You can't do a Johansson. You might be able to waive Hamonic, but again, your right-handed defensemen are coveted, right? I think I'm actually really excited about Jacob Bernard-Dockard. I love taking flyers on former first-round picks. I'm surprised that Buffalo didn't qualify him, but I think
he was too.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I know, right? And I mean, and he didn't sign league min. He's like $850 for his contract, but I think that was $850 anyway. So, but like I'm thinking something like that. I'm like, okay, hey, give the guy like that an opportunity on the right side. I know like Johansson can play the right side. I don't know if it's best for him. I don't know. Like, will he thrive better in a second? I like to see Johansson up on the top line, top pair with Sider, and then that way Edmondson can run his own pair, right? You do Johansson, Sider, then Sherratt can play both sides as well. Do Evans and Sherratt.
The only reason I don't like that is because Sherratt and Sider have been together for 3 years. So like they have the chemistry, they know how to play with each other.
By choice? Or
yeah, by choice. But yeah. Simon and Aljo played together here in GR for 2 years. So that's why I'd rather have those pairs are kind of and Aljo can hold his own. I feel like Aljo can hold his own at this point. So I would love to see that kind of. I mean, obviously I don't want to see Sherratt there for long. But
Sherratt's being I'm speaking for me. You don't disagree with this. I think Sherratt is deserving of an NHL position. I think he brings a lot of intangibles. I got a lot of leadership. He wears an A. I think Sherratt is a phenomenal third pair defenseman.
Yeah.
I think he is a little out of his depth currently with the speed. When you want Ben Sherratt against McDavid, against Matthews, against Nathan McKinnon, you're asking a lot of a guy who has played up a higher caliber. Again, he's 34 years old. It's just age catches up on you. And I think that's where you're playing him in a role that maybe is outside his depth, which is the hard part about the Red Wings defense pairs is that you don't have enough talent throughout the whole, all 6 of them to be able to say, hey, yep, this is competent, right? So.
He's being deployed against the toughest competition too. So it's like it's a double negative on him, right? It's hard. It's so hard for him. So I mean, I like Sherratt. I don't have an issue with him. I'm just probably not the right place for him. He's on the first line, like you said.
He's so good looking too. I mean, that I'm surprised people aren't just giving him the puck with how good looking he is. So it would be hard. You can't bump Simon down to the third pair, and you put him at the top. Then you're so top heavy that you need to distribute some of that talent. And again, I think Gustafsson, I don't think he can play top left. You know what I mean? Like it's hard to find that. I think of all the options, I think Sherratt is probably your best option. I just think it's hard because I think he's getting shit on more than he should because I think he's just being asked to do more than he he needs to, right? But again, he's a leader. He is stepping up, and I'm happy that he's willing to take those options. And again, he has worked out well with Sider as well.
And maybe that spot is, Axel's for next year, or maybe, Eljo goes up and then Axel's with Simon, or, something vice versa. So it'll be interesting to see how that plays out. Or, you've got Wallinder as well, or Bouya can make that jump too. So
do you of Tuomisto, Wallinder, and Shai Buyam, who do you see make? I mean, we're going 26, 27, but who do you think has the best odds doing that?
Oh man, so it's funny because I was high on Wallinder. I've been pretty good with who I've seen, and I'm like, okay, this guy's gonna make the team. I literally have a Wallinder signed jersey. I was high on this guy when he got here. Last year we talked to Dan Watson, the coach of the Grand Rapids Griffins. We're like, who's going to surprise us this year on the defensive side? He goes, Wallinder and Tuo. And we're like, cool. That's who we thought too. We thought they were going to take the next step. They both got jumped to the top line. They struggled. I don't know if it was just too much for them at the time, or they were just deployed at like really bad times. Like maybe that could have been a thing. We don't have those advanced analytics here in the AHL to do in the NHL, so it's tough to see. It's all eye test, right? And then Shai comes in, and Shai does really well against second and third pairings, and we're like, okay, like this guy's really he's standing out to us. Then they kind of split Wallinder and 2-0 near the end of the season after Steve's presser, and we're like, okay, this is interesting. Let's see how this is one guy affecting the other and bringing them out or bringing them down or holding them up, or like what's the situation here? Yeah. And we kind of still saw the same thing, I would say. So it'll be interesting to see this year who's really going to take that. Maybe this is the year Wallinder to take that next step. I'm still hammering Shai Buyam. Like that's the guy. I'm like,
I mean, he's related to Z Buyam. I mean, that's got to give some credibility there, right?
Right. The genes are there, right? So
he's not a Sveshnikov, but he is he is a Buyam. Buyam is so high. I mean, yeah, he was so highly touted. I mean, supposedly the Red Wings were going to pick Buyam in that draft. Z Buyam. There was talks about it, and they ended up going with was it Nygaard? Is that Nygaard's?
I believe that was the draft year.
Yeah. So I think there was talks about them going with Z Buyam at some point, but I think that's when Minnesota traded up with Philadelphia to get up there to draft him. I'm pretty sure. So,
right.
Which, yeah. I think I got it. I'm pretty sure. I'm like, yeah, let's go with that. So, yeah. So I think again, this is. No, it wasn't not Marco Kasper. I'm looking at the draft list right now. I'm like, where was he drafted? Yeah, but I think it's 2024 when he got drafted. Z Buyam, 12th overall. Yeah, that was, and then that's when Philadelphia picked Jet Luchenko. So, yeah, I think it's going to be really cool. Go ahead. You'll think about the talk. So, yeah, no, because that's the defense that I'm really curious is like, I think one of the issues that Steve has done is that he hasn't brought rookies up enough. I think maybe they're not ready, but I think that's one of those things where like, okay, you bring Albert Johansson up, you're like, okay, is he ready? And he worked out really well. And then like Soderblom can't be waived, so you bring him up as well. And he is again working out well. And now I think you need to. I think we talked about this over ripening him down in GR. I think you need to bring some of these guys up early because they have so many prospects now. It's like, okay, now you have 3 rookie defensemen that, you have Buyam and Wallinder and Tuomisto. Tuomisto, I think he's on his last year of his ELC. So it's like, is he going to make it or is he not? Do you want to bring up a Buyam who's looking really good? A Wallinder, can he play a third pair? It's like, do you want 3 rookie defensemen? It's like you try and figure out what the right balance is and such that you don't stifle these guys' abilities, but it is a concern for me that there's so many rookies and I want to see these guys thrive in the best. I want him to hit their ceiling, which is hard to ask of them. But you can't have 4, 5, 6 rookies. You can't have 3 really. Let's be honest.
Yeah. Tua had a weird path because he was international, playing international, then he was playing college, then he went back to international. Like he kind of had a weird path here. He was drafted the same year as Sider. So that was so he has been in the system for a while, but he's very slow. He doesn't have the pace. And so that's what's kind of like dragging him down, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
I don't know how to put it nicely. I mean, your next guy, William Wallinder, same year as Lucas Raymond, 2nd-round pick. I would hope that like this was the year that he was like last year that he was going to break out and be like, okay, like this guy's ready. I could see it. I'm ready. He's ready to go up. Where, we watched Albert, we watched Simon here. This guy would be ready to go up. We just didn't see it. So like I could see maybe him out of that draft year. Like there isn't anybody else besides Keaton Draper that's still with the organization.
Who I think is not going to be with the organization. I think they're going to sign him.
Yeah, he just finished college. So
yeah,
like that's everybody else in that draft class is gone. Then you look at Simon's draft class, Shai and Carter. That's kind of it.
Well, and Cossa, right? You'll get Cossa too, right?
Oh, so, yeah. Sorry.
Yeah.
which by Shai and Carter.
Yeah,
that's still a really good draft class.
Yeah, well, again, you didn't really hit on anything. I don't think you're going to hit anything in 2020. Again, I think Wallinder. I think he didn't win. I swear it was him, Edmonton, and Sider. Yeah, it was a rookie defenseman of the year in the SHL. Like that's and then Axel as well. I'm pretty sure as well. He also so that's very promising. It sounds really good, and I just hope it works out. But that's
losing. Why I was high on him.
Yeah. Well, and again, the problem is with Wallinder is I'm looking at some of the stats. Tuomisto is 210, 6'5". So he's a tall guy and he's a big boy, right? Yeah. You look at Wallinder, at least on HockeyDB, he's 190 pounds, my goal weight, and 6 inches taller, right? Like, I mean, like, can he? Like, I don't know, what is he an offensive defenseman more than is he? Because he put 19 points in 62 games. Like, so he had there's some offensive prowess there, but for a guy who I want to make the NHL, I need to see half point per game, in my opinion, out of a defenseman, especially who's 23 years old.
Yeah, the problem we saw with Wallinder is he had trouble keeping the puck in the zone, like in the offensive zone. Like it would jump, it would skip, it would go over us, and then we're starting over. And it was so hard for us last year just to get into the offensive zone and to get through the neutral zone. Like it was impossible against a lot of teams. So even when we were able to establish possession in that zone, we struggled because the puck would go right over his stick. And so we continued to see this. And so I don't know if it was just his nervousness or just like he was playing top line, top minutes, he was burnt out. I don't know. So it's tough to say like his style. It's not, I don't see the offense. I don't see, he's more of a defenseman. It's not even like, I can't really find something that like, he skates really well. He skated really well when he got here, but he doesn't have like crazy passes. He doesn't have a crazy shot or like you're like, oh wow, like where did that come from? Or a deker of that, or like gaining the zone. Like Simon was so good at gaining the zone and just carrying the puck end to end. Like it was crazy to watch him. He'd play center like that. That's how you just carry the puck up and nobody would even bother him. So for Wally, like maybe it's like the thing I struggle with Nate is like he's just so good all around. Like it's hard to find like something to poke at him of like you're not doing this, you're not doing that. Like we found the one thing. We kind of hammered that a lot last season.
Yeah. Well, so actually, let me give you a little bit of stats real quick to maybe help you with the comparison. Albert Johansson in his last year before he came up to the Red Wings, 21 points in 66 games. So about a point every 3 games. So right, he's scoring every 33% of the time. Wallinder had 19 points in 62 games, so a little less, 2 points less, but a similar production. And we know Aljo is more of, I would say he's more defensive responsible than offensive, right? So I guess, is there a good comparison when you're seeing Albert Johansson to William Wallinder? And is that something we can expect? No, okay.
No, Albert was a dog. Like he would go after people. He had
46 penalty minutes, so as opposed to Wallinder's 10. So yeah, that is also dog mentality. Yeah,
he was aggressive. Like he was a shutdown guy. Like you saw it against Connor McDavid. Like he would go after like the top guys and like shut them down. Like
and that goal, that sick goal. I mean, one of the best, dude.
Exactly. And then you'd see like shots like that, and you're like, whoa, where did that come? Like then you kind of like when it happens repeatedly a couple times, like every 10 or so games, you're like, yeah, that's Albert. Like he got released, he got off the leash and he was able to go. And like you saw it, you're like, you know what he's capable of. So like that goal in the NHL, we were not surprised because we're like, we've seen this before. with like volley, it's so tough. Like when you break down those points, I'm like, okay, that's interesting to know, but I don't like. They're definitely not the same type of player at all.
Okay.
He's just there's nobody for me to even like that I could think of to compare him to at this moment.
You're good. Like I said, and that's something I'm just really excited about. Like I'm looking at some of these things. I'm like, again, you want every draft pick to work out, and I think with second round picks, it like hurts my heart. Like when you guys don't work out or you use your pick on them or something like that. Like, even Andrew Gibson, they traded him. He was a second round pick with Nashville and Keeskinen. And
okay, we started.
No, dude, don't
I know
worry.
We're on the same page on this.
No. Yeah, no. And don't worry. I talked to the Dallas VP yesterday. By the way, check that podcast out if you haven't checked it out already. I interviewed the VP of 105.3 The Fan radio station, and he did a great job breakdown of the Dallas Stars. Go check him out. But he talked about Wyatt Johnston, and I had to tell him the lore about how that the reason that the Dallas Stars got that pick is that they got Cossa, and they moved up to 15th and all that stuff, and they got two guys. It's just Wyatt Johnston is honestly he was a steal that draft. He would go number 1 in my opinion in that draft. So. But yeah, so just to kind of, I'm gonna do again. We've been going 56 minutes. I'm gonna give you this. I want to do the press box and Puckpedia. I'm gonna rip through who we see in the. Let me rephrase. I want to see who you think what their ceiling is on the Red Wings.
Okay. Like who's gonna make it?
Ceiling long term. So I want you to say like it could be within the next 5 years. I mean, because they should all, 5 years, these guys should be on the Red Wings, right?
Yeah.
So I want to rip through them. I'm going to skip the veterans like Watson, Shine, Leonard, Dries and everything, but let's rip through this. So you ready? We'll just rapid fire.
Oh, wow.
We'll finish it off. Okay. Carter Mazer.
Maybe third line.
Third line winger.
Yeah. Third line winger.
Nate Danielson.
That's a tough one.
Ceiling, right? So I think Kasper plays that second line center. I think he'd be a phenomenal third line center, right? Then you're rolling 3 lines. So what do you think?
Second line, yeah, for ceiling.
Carter Bear.
Oh shit. I would say second line
winger. Okay.
Yeah, I can see him there. Or yeah, I don't want to go too high.
No, you're good because you'll tell me Brancy Nygaard then.
First or second? Yeah.
Okay. First, really? You're higher on him than Carter Bear?
Yeah. Based off of size and strength, like Embiid's a man. Like he's a huge dude.
True.
Carter Bear is still a junior. He needs to hit the weight room a little bit, and then he'll get there. But they play similar styles, but Big Mike's already there.
True. Side note on Carter Bear, Max Pacioretty had hurt his Achilles twice, and came back with the Washington Capitals. Had 47 games, and he had half a point per game player. Played with the Toronto Maple Leafs, still a third a point per game. And again, he was old, right? I think he can bounce back, but there's some optimism. We're not to be so worried about him, not be able to recover and everything. He'll be all right, So. It is terrifying though.
I've accepted it and I've moved on.
Yeah, fair enough. So
I'm like, we gotta live with it. I breathe.
Yep. Just breathe. He has a professional sports team. They'll do the best for him, right?
Yeah.
So, Kiskinen.
Second.
You really second line winger.
I'm just trying to think, where do you put him? Like, there's so many people.
We'll talk ceiling. I think he falls third. I think he tops out his third line. So.
Second or third,
like Andre Becker. By the way, you can say that they don't make the team as well, like because I don't know if Becker does. I don't know if he makes the team long term.
I don't either.
Okay, and Amadeus Lombardi.
Oh, I'm praying for this guy to make the team. I love this kid. Yeah. I've had him on the pod 3 times. He's from my but he played for my hometown team. I love Lombardi. I'm hoping. What would be really cool is if he took Patrick Kane's spot when Kane retired or when he leaves, he would take the slot there. That would be a good line, or the left wing. But I think with the way Todd's building it, he's kind of find somebody to create space at that top spot for Dylan Raymond.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Emmett Finney.
Oh gosh. There's a lot of discord about this guy.
In a good way or bad way?
Good, just surprising.
Yeah, I mean, seventh round pick, right? I mean, yeah, that's very exciting.
I'm gonna say third line.
Third, okay.
I feel like he's more of a grinder.
Okay. Jacob Rivlovsky.
I don't know if he makes it.
Nope, I didn't think so. Yeah, he was a Czech signing. He was just he was the highest scorer on his team in the Czech league. So
hurts me to say that about those two kids too, because they're good kids. Like they're fun. They're great in the locker room. Always happy to be here. So it hurts. I hope they make it, but I don't see a path here in Detroit.
Yeah, no, I hear it. Doucette.
I don't think he makes it.
I don't think so either. I think he seems like such fun, and that was one that the podcast with the guy from Halifax. Doucette played for the Halifax Mooseheads, and he was so high on him and everything. I think he had like 100 points a year that year because he got traded halfway through. Had 50 points on one team, 50 points on another. So it was crazy.
If he does well this season, I'll make change. But he did well at Toledo. Took a little bit of time. He did well here, but not as well as he did at Toledo. So if he takes that next step, anything's possible. Like Amo took a huge step in the offseason last year. His points exploded. So maybe, Deuce does the same thing.
I'd love to see that. He had 21 points in 64 games, and he's in his last year of his RFA status. So, he's an RFA up until 2026. So he's on the last year of his contract. So he'll have to sign another contract. So, Edwards Tralmax.
This guy looked good today. Honestly, I don't know if I said it tonight already, but
yeah, you did.
Yeah, today. So I think he does make the team as an injury or somewhere like that, or first call up maybe. But I thought he has the NHL body. He's
6'4". Yeah, he's huge. So I have a soft spot for this guy, Kevin Bicker. I love that he's a German. I just love that he's a German, man. I would love to see it.
I got to pass because I don't know much about this guy. So I know he's German. I know that, but I don't have any tape. I haven't seen him play, so it's tough for me to say.
I understand. It's been a while, but he was a point per game in the DNL, which is the league lower than the DEL. So, like I said, we've seen him in NHL.
Did you? He was there for like half the season. And never saw him.
No, he played for Toronto.
In Detroit.
He played for Toronto, and he also played for Anaheim Ducks too, as well. So he played 8 games last year. 7 games.
We were so bad. He got called up in Christmas, and then we never saw him again for either team.
Dude, I know. Which is, I mean, the guy's he's not too mad. He's making 775 grand. He's not too mad about that. So that is absolutely not too bad. Moving on, we're on to the defense now. More on the defense. Linder.
Third line D.
Okay.
Third pairing D.
Axel Sandin Pellikka.
First. I'm that high on the kid. Yeah, he's.
You think he bumps Seider?
He's not. He's gonna be on first pair with Seider.
They're both righties.
Oh shit! I forgot about that.
Yeah, I think you see. I think you see a. Well, you can, but I think it'd be good to do Evans Seider, Aljo, move back to the left side, and then do Sandy Pellikka.
Yeah.
I mean, again, all Red Wings, all Eisman draft picks. My heart. Tuomisto.
I don't think he makes it.
I agree. William.
I think he makes it third pair at least.
Yeah, I think it's a solid third pair
or second. As a ceiling. Somewhere to stretch for. So
yep. Will Murphy. He was just drafted, but I hear he looked good in the prospect game and.
He was a shit stir. He was aggressive. He was there. He was noticeable. Big dude too.
6'4", 212. Yeah.
Who knows? I can't put the only data points I have on him is the prospects game. So
you're good. You're good. I just want to make note of him. Yeah. I just want to bring him up. So Cossa again as a goalie, where do you think he falls?
He'll be an NHL goalie.
Yeah. So, I think Cossa plays 5 or 7 games. This is not lightning round, by the way. I'm definitely just talking the whole time through it. But I think Cossa, again, I think because you bring Gibson and he has an extra year next year, you let Talbot go, and then Cossa becomes the backup 26, 27. That's where he really solidifies his start. And then that leaves a hole in the AHL when you bring Trey Augustine up. And I think he in 26, 27, he comes. Oh, you think he's not going to sign with Red Wings?
Who knows?
That wins. The wins.
No,
Yeah, no.
I wish Trey. I love Trey. I want him here. I want him here so bad, but he's just until he signs, I can't really say anything, right? Like we just went through this Isaac Howard, and he did, and so Red Savage, same thing. Like I was pound on the table for Red Savage to be here. Signs with Buffalo, so I hope to God Trey's here. But we've got Carter Gylander, who's also been in the system for a long time, who could fill that hole. Like Michael Postava as well. So who knows?
Yeah, I hear you. Well, again, and they have a lot of goalies, which I'm really happy with. So I mean, you got to take as many swings as you can at these things. You
should draft a goalie every year.
Yeah, I agreed. I mean, Carter Gylander was a 7th round pick. So I mean, you got to try for these guys, right? So speaking of Carter Gylander, what do you think?
I think he's an HL. Love Carter. I just think this organization is tough for goalies to get ahead. I think there's 2
positions too, right? Yeah. It's hard. It's hard to break out. So
it's tough too because we just interviewed him.
Oh, did you? Yeah, no. He seems like a great guy. Like I said,
yes.
No, and again, you can't teach size 6'5", So
he could be a backup somewhere in the NHL. I just don't know if it's Detroit. Detroit's so weird with their goalies, so it's tougher.
Okay, and the rest of the guys, you got Postava. Thank you. Again, he was just a free agent acquisition, So I mean, I think he sticks in the AHL. I think you just try him out, see if it works. Cool. If it does, if it doesn't, no big deal.
Yep, so I think AHL right now.
Yeah, and then we don't know anything about Prattle, Miller, and Guimond enough. However, I do want to pump Guimond's tires. He did have 16 straight wins, 16 wins, 0 losses with the
Moncton.
Wildcats. Yeah. So that's very exciting. So
Rudy G, he's a G. He'll be at Yale next year after this junior year. So very excited for that guy to get here, either Toledo or GR, whenever. So he's an exciting goalie to watch.
Yeah, and I'm really excited about Anton Johansson. I'm curious. I think it was interesting that he's back in the SHL, and I think it's a little concerning, but they do have his rights till 2028, so it's possible. I think he'd be a good trade target at some point.
They were going to trade him.
They were. Okay.
Yeah, there was a trade for John Gibson. It was Anton and a first for John Gibson, and at the trade deadline, and Steve said no. And they revisited
absolutely not.
Months later. But Anton, he was here, played great. A few things to work on just defensively because of the North American ice. He just had to get adjusted to.
Sure.
So I think that's kind of positionally he kind of had issues there. He went back because his dad is the team owner of the team that he's played for.
Well,
so it's a weird situation. I'm hoping that he does one more year there and then he comes back and he's here for good now. Like he doesn't leave.
Yeah.
Because I was big on him for the last 2 years when he was at the World Juniors. When I saw his play, I was just like, this guy's a dog. Very aggressive, tall, lengthy guy, can put up some points. I was very excited about Anton.
Yeah. Side note, I want to note the fact that Stevie decided not to trade Anton Johansson in a 1st round pick and then got Gibson for Mrazek, moved off a goalie, and a 2nd and a 4th, and I'm like, dude, steal. I'm surprised that that's all it took. Like, in my opinion, I think they did you a favor by taking Mrazek, so you throw him a 4th, right, for taking Mrazek's contract, and then you basically, in my opinion, I like to see it that way. I think you're going to give in a 4th to get rid of Mrazek, and then you say, here's a 2nd round pick in addition. Like, as opposed to having to pay extra. I think paying for it with Johansson and paying for it with a 1st round pick, you're like, again, Gibson, I don't think he would have been the game changer. I don't think he would have got us into the playoffs, but
no,
go ahead.
Oh, you're good. It's I mean, I like it. Like I said, I like Anton. I think Steve did well with that trade. And I think that fourth was like a throwaway too. It was like we got it with the Joe Veleno trade, I think.
No, it's a Red Wings draft pick. So it's according to this, it says 2026 Red Wings draft pick in fourth.
Oh, it was originally ours?
Yeah.
I feel like I thought we got something. And
I think we had one already. I don't know. I'd have to look at let me see. I think they already had a fourth in 2020. Well, I guess I can't see. It's 2026 fourth. So, I mean, I can look up and see if they have a fourth then. But I imagine that they have plenty of draft picks. Again, it's a fourth round pick. It's the chances of a fourth round pick hitting, is unlikely, right? So 2026, they already have a fourth round pick. They have Columbus Blue Jackets fourth round pick. So. Again, so they have plenty of draft picks in that case. They have eight coming into the season. They also have Calgary 7th as well, so they're okay. They were able to afford it and everything. So
yeah.
But anyways, let's wrap this thing up. We did an hour and 10, so look at us, man. Had a great time. So Nick, I appreciate you coming. I appreciate it, man. Tell everyone where you can find you.
Find us.
Find us. We'll find you. Well, it's us, meaning your podcast, them. Well, yeah, the entity known as Hockeytown West.
So you could find me on Twitter, GR Hockey Guy. You could find the pod at Hockeytown W Pod. We cover Grand Rapids Griffiths, the Toledo Walleye. So keep everything in the organization. We can find your prospects. We're gonna do each game for Grand Rapids. We're tweeting out the highlights. We can follow us on literally all the socials: TikTok, Instagram, Threads, Facebook. We're literally everywhere. YouTube. Subscribe over there. We do every once in a while we'll do a live show. So we'll put the Griffins on and we'll just kind of commentate, like kind of Peyton Manning, Eli Manning style it. We've got a lot of big things planned for this year. We've got a couple podcasts going that we've grouped with. We're going to do a couple fun things, and then we've got a couple big interviews as well. So we're always interviewing the prospects. We're interviewing the players. And we're doing, media throughout the season. So excited for the red and white game. I'll be at camp the next 2 days. Yeah. Friday, Saturday, and then red and white game on Sunday. So, reach out. Love meeting everybody. Either Toledo, if you're at Toledo, if you haven't gone to a Toledo game, go to a Toledo game. It'll change your life. And then you can find us at over at GR. We're at every home game, and we'll be going to the All-Star game this year for the AHL because it's over down in Rockford. So it's not too far for us. So
nice.
I think that's everything.
That's everything. Make sure subscribe to their YouTube, and if you're Patreon, they also have Patreon as well. So
I run the Patreon. I forgot about that.
I'm sure you guys get rowdy. I mean, you talk about events and you're talking about training camp. I mean, you got a lot of things. So just make sure if you're up in Traverse City, go say hi to Nick and everything. And if you guys end up going to a Toledo game, let me know, and I'll just swing by, and we'll. It's only like an hour a little bit plus, and so if you guys go, let me know. We'll get a little package together, and we'll go party down there.
Sounds good. Yeah, it's if you haven't been, like I said, it's so hard to get tickets though. They're sold out. Like season ticket holders are sold out.
I have the hookup, man. It's you.
We don't even have tickets the home opener yet. They're already sold out. Yeah, it's gonna be a challenge. So they're on like a 90 game sellout streak. Like it's absolutely insane. Whole sellout streak.
That of course, yeah. That's awesome. I love like the passion. Like I love that. That's what these smaller teams like. It's so cool to see that and everything.
I love it.
So I love that, man. All right, well, appreciate it. Thanks a lot, man. You have a great night, and everyone make sure to like, subscribe my YouTube and podcast as well. You can find us all throughout the podcast universe. And thank you to THPN for sponsoring us. They hook it up. Make sure you go check out their page and everything, and follow Nick. Watch the clips on Twitter, man. He's gonna hook it up. All right, so hang out with Max Boltman. All right, have a good night, man. Thanks.